It's time to wrap up this Oregon penny box series. In the first box, we got 11 wheat cents. In box 2, we got 8. Right now, we're sitting on 19 wheat cents through 2 boxes, and we're hoping that this box will get us to 30. Hey everybody, it's Rob with RobFindsTreasure, and that's right, it's time to wrap up this 3-box hunt from Oregon for these pennies. As you'll recall, we've got 19 so far in the first 2 boxes, and I even hunted another box from Oregon a few months ago where I got 12. So we actually are averaging more than 10 per box, but we're sitting on 19 out of the 3 boxes so far from this set. Now I'm going to go ahead and crack open this box live. I believe it's already been checked and opened prior to being taped up to make sure it was circulated since, but we'll just make sure of that right now since it still has the tape fresh on it. Let's take a look here and see. Yeah, it looks like it's been opened already. Do we have any enders? It's kind of a mess inside. I don't see any enders, but we've done good for copper, and that is a really nicely toned 1991 Denver. Either way, I'm eager to get started. You guys know the drill. We're going to use the penny mat, we're going to use the microscope, and we're going to start hunting right away. And if anything pops up throughout the hunt, we'll bring you in and show you what we got. Let's get this box organized, and then let's get this hunt started. Roll number 1 of this 3rd Oregon box, and we're right off to a start with the wheat cent. It's just a 1946, but I think that's a 46S, and it is. So staying true to the West Coast boxes, another S-minted wheat cents, first of the box and oldest of the box, obviously. Let's keep hunting and pray it's a great box. Roll number 3 of the box is already going to yield wheat cent number 2 of the box. Could be old, probably in the 40s. No. 1953. Little better obverse than the reverse. We'll take it though. Second wheat cent found. Roll number 4. Wheat cent number 3. And it's going to be a 1958 Denver. Last year wheat cent. Roll number 7. Canadian cent number 1. It's more modern. It's going to be a 1988. Roll number 13, second Canadian of the box, definitely a modern one. 2004, 2 Canadians, 3 wheat cents. We're on roll number 14 of the box, and I'm always checking for that 1961D over horizontal D RPM. So I always check my 61Ds. I've got a nice 61D under the scope. When I brought it up, I noticed that it did have some trailing marks here. And I figured this is probably an RPM. I've scoured all of Variety Vista for the different RPMs on the 61D. It's not the D over D over D, horizontal D. That'd be nice. That would be nice. And it soon will be nice. But it is RPM 24. I'll show you an example of the magnified RPM. Mine's not the exact same, but there's different die stages, and I think it's that one. It is to the east. It does have some of the scratches next to the jacket, like this one says. I'm going to go with RPM 24. Really not much value here, but for somebody who collects RPMs like I do, I'm going to go ahead and keep it, flip it up, and put it to the side. Just wanted to bring it in so that you guys can see we got our find other than a wheat cent, and that makes me happy, and it's in pretty good shape to boot. So, nice find. Let's get back to the hunt and see what other goodies are in this box. So this is absolutely crazy. I just flipped up this 1961D RPM 024, and I said, man, it sucks that it's not the FS-501 or the D over D over D horizontal D to the west. Literally a few rolls later, I put another 61D under the scope. Now this one's not in great shape. It is in brown condition. But check this out. That, my friend, is the D over horizontal D. And let me explain to you how I know it is. So the FS-501 has many stages of the dies. We have stage A here, which mine is not. It's not stage B. It's not stage C. and it's not even stage D. But there's some telltale die breaks on stage E, which gives it away. First and foremost, there's the mint mark right there on the 61 D over D over D horizontal to the west. That's exactly what we have. Now I'm going to skip the die scratches because it's harder to see on a brown circulated coin, but here's a couple of no doubters for you. The major reverse detail is this humongous die break under the left side of the base of the memorial building. I'm going to show mine here, and I'm going to flip it over, and without a doubt, we've got that die break. There's also 3 more die breaks on those final columns. And if I go to mine, you can clearly see the die break here, a little bit here, as well as there, and that is those. So the irony of me saying I wish I'd I've been looking for it forever, a 61 D over D over D horizontal RPM, and then finding one makes me happy. And believe it or not, despite it being brown, it's not in terrible shape. We might be able to get a very low mint state or a high AU out of this coin. Now let's go to the PCGS price guide and see what we're looking at here as far as value. Now I know I'm bringing up the red example, 61D over horizontal D FS-501, but just to get an idea, if we got a mint state 63 on it, it's about a $35 to a $40 coin. Obviously, there's not a lot of value in it under a mint state grade, so they don't really display it, and mine is brown. But at the end of the day, it is a major RPM variety that I have been hunting for a long time. And to be honest, this is in extremely great shape, even though it's brown. I think we probably would get, based on my opinion, probably an MS62 to an MS63 brown grade on it. And not that I would submit it, but I am partial to this one because it is one I've been looking for so long, and I'm happy that we have found it. All this time, and the irony that I said I wish I would have had it from the last find, and now we've got a second 61D RPM in the same box. And for those wondering, there have been a handful more 61Ds in there, and I was thinking we might find a 61D RPM today, and now we have 2. Let's get back to the hunt and see what else we find. Just grabbed roll number 28 out of the box and flipped it around. Had to move the paper, but we've got a wheat cent ender, and I think I see a 52D. Let's check it out. Well, I grabbed the roll, laid out the 52D, and I think I see another wheat cent just a few behind it. Wheat cent number 4 is the ender, 1952 Denver. And wheat cent number 5 is going to be a 1944D, which I do get to check for that 44D over S, and it is not. But 5 wheat cents, 28 rolls, I'll take it. Same roll, and we have a third wheat cent of the roll, and now it's wheat cent number 6. It's just another 1944, this time from Philly, but 3 in a roll. Maybe the box is going to heat up. Roll 30, wheat cent number 7. This one's going to be a 1946 San Francisco, so I guess we can check it for that S over D for funsies, which I don't see. 7 wheat cents, 30 rolls. Roll 31 is going to produce our third Canadian of the box, and it's just a 1987 with pretty good luster on it. Same roll, Canadian number 4, 1975. Making a comeback. Roll number 34 is going to have wheat cent number 8 in it, and it looks a little slick by the back, but you never know for sure. It's definitely older, a 1935 Denver. That's the oldest of the box and the first from the 30s. Just opened up roll number 38, flattened it out, and in the back I see a wheat cent trying to expose itself. 1952 Denver again. Wheat cent number 9. Roll number 50 is going to hit a milestone for us. We'll get our 10th wheat cent of the box. That makes 29 in 3 boxes. It's just a 45p, but double digits is always nice. If there's one more in this roll, we'll average 10 for the 3-box Oregon hunt. Well, that does it for that Oregon box, box number 3. Another good box, 10 wheat cents, and like I mentioned, we have 29 over the 3-box hunt. The oldest find of this box was a 1935 Denver, in pretty rough shape, but always nice seeing one from the 30s. For those keeping track, we did have 4 2009 pennies worth keeping. There was 3 other ones that were toasty, didn't even put them on the board. We got 4 Canadians. We got 6 59s. Some of them are minted in Denver, but none of them were the RPMs. One pretty nice 1974 D, wish it was the 74S. 2 69S's, neither of which were the DDO. The finds of the box was a really nice 1961 D, D over D RPM number 24. I'll take it. And the best find of the box, wish it was a blazer, was a 61 D, D over D over D, well, D over horizontal D to be exact, FS-501 Stage E. I've been looking for this for a long time, and we have our first one. 2 RPMs within a few rolls of each other, no other varieties found, a good amount of copper, 10 wheat cents, a fun hunt. Hopefully you enjoyed this final Oregon box. If you did, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. And as always, everyone, happy hunting and thanks for watching.